The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Hey, Canucks fans. It's Sunday, Thanksgiving Sunday, in Canada. And we keeping it positive. We keeping it light. We dreaming big. We being optimistic prior to the start of the most important Canucks season of all time. Enjoy the show.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are back on a Sunday, Thanksgiving Sunday, for another episode of Locked On Canucks. And you heard the music. We're obviously in a great mood. No Trevor Beggs on the program, okay? No Trevor Beggs, no problem. And remember, Trevor Beggs is the biggest problem on Locked On Canucks. Yes, that show where we give you your Canucks every day. Hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy the show. And if you don't, it's all good. It's all good. Hate us. We don't care. We don't care. Are we confident that you'll be back in a year? Maybe. Maybe not. But are we all Canucks? Of course. And that's why we don't care. I feel as if we're not here to be loved. We're here to talk Canucks. And I want to get right into it. For the Canucks and their fans, for the people, again on Thanksgiving Sunday, Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes has a big opportunity to really put himself on that map this week in the NHL. We saw how good he's looked so far. The preseason was his preseason. The dude who was already so good seems to have gotten so much better, which is great news for us because we need a lot of help. Luckily for us, though, right? Hockey games are 60 minutes long, and I think it's pretty obvious that Quinn Hughes is going to be playing, 27 to 30 minutes a game. Something is telling me, again, that is just going to be a regular thing. 55 games, 60 games this year, he's playing that much. A, because the Canucks need him to, and B, because he wants to. And he becomes a scarier player when he wants it all on him. Again, the captain of your Vancouver Canucks. There's something that is so cocky. Is that how you say it about Quinn Hughes? But in the right way. There's this sureness that everything, every little thing, and every big thing is going to be all right because I got this. I see that in Quinn Hughes. For the second time, right? The captain of your Vancouver Canucks. And we got to hope, right? We got to hope. Hope is dope. It's just the truth. And remember, Trevor Beggs ain't here. So we being happy. We taking swings. Because it's all about the West Coast bias here, okay? We're only here. We got to be hopeful that this dude is going to be known as the greatest captain in Vancouver Canucks history, right? This season is so important. So important. Because even though this team is so far away, well, it seems like that, they're a team that is so talented at the top, if you really think about it. Two of the guys they got would be three of the top players, most important players for their respected nations in a potential Olympic best-on-best hockey tournament down the road. Those are the guys that are on these Canucks. And yeah, Quinn Hughes is one of them. And when I say things like, yo, at the end of the day, this guy's got to be our best captain ever. We want to be talking those words when we talk about a guy like Quinn Hughes. I don't want / trust change / us finding the solution with different players. Because does it get better than this? And we got to be honest, even more honest these times around. We've never had a guy like Quinn Hughes. It took us 50 plus years to get one of those guys. You best believe I'm dreaming that they make the most of this. And they take steps, major steps this year, somehow, some way, in approaching contendership within the next 3 years. They'll be in a better position. I was going to say that they would be in a better position financially. We got that OEL money hitting the books, but I feel as if they, with a bit of confidence with those guys, there would be more patience for Alvin and Rutherford, not a lot of pressure to possibly be irrational. And I think we've seen from those two that they aren't that way, especially with player management or asset management, I would say. I think they'll be smarter than bending with the Bucks. And I think that combination with, again, winning this season and then getting some confidence and having those two guys and Demko as the pillars, there is a recipe for, again, contendership, because we've mentioned it so many times over the past 5 months. Maybe not so much over the past couple of weeks because Beggsy was on the show. But he's not here today, okay? We're not bringing the doubt. We're talking about it a lot because going into this week, I mentioned that Quinn Hughes has the opportunity to really put himself on that other tier when it comes to being those guys in the NHL in the eyes of all of the NHL, right? The mainstream. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that, again, Demko, Pettersson, and Hughes can help us out here. And we don't have to change off of those names in order to find hope and feel as if meaningful hockey is back. Anywho, how does Quinn Hughes do it? I lost track there. Okay, well, what time is it again? How does Quinn do it? How does he do it all this week? He puts up points, and he somehow shuts down McDavid and Draisaitl. He minimizes their output, and the Canucks win 2 games. That's a lot to ask for. But again, Quinn Hughes is going to be playing a lot of hockey. Are we seeing 2 30-minute games from your captain immediately against one of the best teams in hockey? I think so. Again, the opportunity for him to produce based on the time on attack is there. 5-on-5 and on the PP. This dude's already made Teddy Bluger look like that guy. I'm sure he's going to put up his points, but playing that much does allow you to open up the door to being exposed more. Just based on physics, right? And he's opening up the season against McDavid and Draisaitl, and he's going to be seeing a lot of them. But we're keeping it positive, right? And what if? What if the Canucks finish 2-0 on this home and home to start the season with the Oilers? Those guys. What if McDavid and Draisaitl combined for under 2 goals? What if Quinn Hughes puts up 4 points? What if Vancouver is confident? What if Vancouver is a little loud? A little loud, okay? The fan base, the people, the conversations, the team. What if we're just a little loud? And we're allowed to be, because we got one of the baddest motherfuckers in the league. Because Quinn Hughes, as alluded to earlier, he's got that cockiness about him. I feel as if he knows he's really good, but it's okay because he wants to be really good often, and he also wants to get better. And now he has the C, and I think it's okay because he seems like one of those guys who's better when the pressure is on. Quinn Hughes is going to take his game from what, being a 90, a 93 overall, a 92 overall to a 95 this season. He's really going to put himself on the map, and it all starts this week. Got to be hopeful and got to think like we've been thinking, or I've been thinking before September, because September, man, I think the very first episode of September was amongst the lines of like, wake me up when September ends. Because for me, again, going into September, none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Okay. Training camp was cool. A competition was cool. I wanted to see some effort, but results didn't matter. But I let the emotions get the best of me. And I ended off September talking about Pettersson leaving at the end of the season. That's how emotional and wrapped up I got about a 6-game preseason. It's safe to say I'm back. Kyle Bowen is back to being addicted to the Vancouver Canucks. And I got to manage my emotions a little bit better and be more straight-minded prior to actual games being played, because, bro, we on this side of the world, okay? The West Coast, the best coast, in the Don't Doze Art Lab. Yo, we got to spread that optimism. Why? Cuz I'm getting older. And B, cuz the season hasn't even started yet. And who else is going to believe in us other than us? And this is a good time to believe in us just a bit, because believing that the other thing may happen, right? That this season would be a disaster is just too much to handle, because what happens next? Based on contracts, based on who's in net, based on his contract down the road. Like, what happens next? If they can't do it with these guys, how are they going to do it? It's a scary thought. And I'm not spending a lot of energy anymore before regular season games start thinking that that's the direction we're headed in. on that episode, man, the 6 predictions of the year. Go check it out if you haven't already, even though it's pretty meaningless now based on me opening up about regretting it all. On that episode, man, talking about Pettersson leaving. Also talking about Quinn Hughes taking the next step. Trevor Baggs, as much as I hate on him sometimes for being an absolute piece of sometimes, okay? I just got to say, this guy knows his hockey. And that's why I feel as if his words in parts of the last 5 months have really stuck with me, because I trust him. I trust him as well. He's that guy. He's somebody that makes me better at doing this. And before he was predicting some level of disappointment this season, telling us to beware, to take it slow when it came to being a little irrational towards the best of the best happening this season, way before he was protecting us from that, he predicted that Quinn Hughes would be a Canuck early in his draft year, and he predicted that it would be one of the best decisions this franchise has ever made. And on that prediction episode and episodes throughout the summer, Trevor Baggs has also he's also talked about Quinn Hughes getting 100 points. 100 points this season. He plays a lot more. He shoots a lot more rebounds, more time on attack. Does that get him all the way up to 100? I don't know. That's a different level of delusion. That's just the truth. But I like it. Okay, Trevor Baggs, I've been roasting you all episode. Thanks for that prediction, okay? Because you have been saying that a lot too, and I gotta sit with the good and the truth, and not just assuming the worst, especially with the Canucks. Okay, so Trevor Beggs, I really appreciate you, being the co-host and inspiring this episode on so many ways, and then also again predicting the best for Quinn Hughes. Speaking of the best, don't they got to get the best out of that top line? And who's playing with the top line? Can we take a couple minutes to talk about that before I get out of here on this bonus episode on this Thanksgiving Sunday? I think so. I think so. So let's do that. Again, you're listening or watching Locked On Canucks. People, before we get back to the show, baby, I gotta tell you that new episodes of Locked On Canucks will be available wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all, okay? New episodes every day at 4:20 p.m. Again, wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. But more importantly, this is the show where we give you your Canucks every day, even on the holidays. On that note, do we do an episode tomorrow? I don't know. Do I bang out a third straight bonus episode for the people? I don't know. I do know, though, that I got a lot of things on the plate creatively, and tomorrow might be my escape. It being a day where I don't think we're obliged to do an episode, to just handle some other things and put some energy into other projects. Because, this right here, this whole Locked On Canucks thing, Trevor Beggs, he planted the seed, and I thought it would take years for it to be an actual sunflower. But, bro, I'm gonna say this sunflower is growing, producing seeds, and I just keep eating the seeds. What does that mean? I don't know. But if you think about this, I'm here on the Sunday afternoon, talking Canucks, being hopeful, spreading that joy before the season starts in a couple of days, when I could be with my dog, Loki, and my pops and my mom, helping prep for Thanksgiving. But you know what's better than that? Eating. Yes, eating at Thanksgiving, okay? I'll come for the food. I'll share the joy then. Right now, we got to talk Canucks. Who's responsible for showing me love? For showing me what love is for the first time in my life? I would say the Canucks before my parents, only because I was young. I didn't know what unconditional love was from the ages of 0 to 5. Aren't you just doing things to get what you want and enjoying life and having fun and not thinking so deep? Yet there I was at 6 years old, getting deep and signing my life with the Vancouver Canucks. I'm grateful for that. And we celebrating Thanksgiving the right way, starting it off with the Vancouver Canucks. So yeah, I'm grateful. But am I going to be here tomorrow? I don't know. That being said, if Trevor Beggs is with us tomorrow, I'm down to do an episode. Only if he's positive. And only because I got a lot of questions, man. And Trevor Beggs, he's that guy. He's that guy on the show. He's got the answers for me. And I want to know. I want to know why we have spent so much time talking about Cole McWard and Quinn Hughes being in this year of his journey with the Vancouver Canucks, and him still not having a legitimate dude to play with again. And this time around, it's going to be somebody who was taking what? Sociology 1200 a couple months ago? You get what I'm saying? This guy was sharpening pencils, eating bologna sandwiches, right? 16 months ago in school. And in an important year, one of the most important years in Canucks history, he's the guy. Potentially partnering up with Quinn Hughes? How come we spent so much time talking about that and not about the fact that we still don't have a legitimate third guy to play with Kuzmenko and Pettersson? I know in the long run, over the course of a season, it's not the biggest of deals because those two alone can make everyone around them better and also just kind of do things on their own. We saw glimpses of what their chemistry could be last year, and it was already really good in year one. I think those two are cerebral and they have a lot of fun playing the game, and the relationship on the ice seems to be fluid. There's a lot of room for that chemistry to grow, and that's why we've been so high on Pettersson's point total as well. We're not scared of the regression, the shooting percentage going down. They're going to find other ways to still score a lot of goals, and that's Pettersson and Kuzmenko. And if they're doing that, again, the third guy can kind of be a revolving door as long as he's working hard, he's retrieving pucks, and he's letting them handle most of what needs to be handled. This all being said, I feel the need that we still gotta talk about it. Like, how come nobody really did the most with that opportunity during preseason? You get what I'm saying? And I feel as if that's why this preseason partially had felt a little concerning. We didn't see what we wanted from Podkolzin, and then we had a guy like Höglander get those types of opportunities and just kind of look the same. I guess what I'm trying to say is early on in October, it would be cool. Even though they don't need a guy in concrete on that line, it would be cool if October, we didn't even have to think about it. It wasn't a revolving door. If one of those guys, Beauvillier, Höglander, etc., really do it. They do their thing. On the other side, the second line, what if that line, and I think there's a little bit of a chance for that line to get off to a slower start, even though PDG is doing his thing. There's just a little doubt in me that doesn't see Miller and Besser really being able to produce amongst the best consistently in their time on ice together, 5-on-5. I just don't see it happening. If that's the case, when do we get to see Besser be Kuzmenko and Pettersson's line mates? What if the third guy was not just a Beauvillier and Höglander type? What if the third guy was really, really smart offensively? Could they have and produce one of the best producing lines in the NHL? Maybe. And I also want to ask Trevor about this. You know, there's so many things that we're going to learn early on in the season, and I wonder if the lack of offense that again, I'm getting. Look what's happening, bro. Look what's happening. I talked about Trevor for a bit, and I just got negative. I'm just doubting. The second line's already not going to work, even though Besser's kicking the puck over to PDG, showing me things. I'm just curious, man. I got questions. I can't wait to talk to Trevor Becks tomorrow because I need him to just kind of unravel my mind. Because I don't know why the idea of Besser needing to be on that top line earlier, or even the Canucks doing the most with Hronek and Hughes. Like, I know people have been talking about that. Are the Canucks going to do the most with Pettersson and Kuzmenko and possibly throughout games put Miller up there? Because we've seen Miller and Pettersson have pretty good chemistry throughout the years. And I know that would weaken the lineup, but are we going to see it be used once in a while? Okay, a different look at things. Maybe. Anyways, that was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every day on the network, even on Thanksgiving, because Trevor is a family over friends type of guy, right? And I'm a family guy too, okay? For real. They used to call me Peter Griffin back in the day. I'm a family guy as well. But it's the start of the season. this week. In 3 days. It's actually happening. The most important Canucks season to date. Happening right now. So it's fans over family on Thanksgiving Sunday for the time being. This is why we get up early. This is why we take care of the body. This is why we do the push-ups. This is why we go for walks. To think straight and do things this way. AKA do things right. Hey, prayers to the world, man. Prayers to the world. One love, sending peace to everyone listening to this and everyone who is not. That's the reason we're here, okay? To somehow, some way, make the world more peaceful and inevitably leave it at peace. Right? I think so. Anyway, subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed today's episode. We may be back tomorrow. Leave us a review on the podcatching side of things, wherever you listen to this to. And have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. We don't know when you're listening to this, but hey, the people over here at the Locked On Podcast Network, we appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow, maybe, or the other day. Who knows? Peace.